Imagine, in 732 AD, the frontier of Western Europe no longer felt distant, it felt close. An Umayyad army from Andalus had already pushed beyond the Pyrenees. Aquitaine was hit hard. Fear moved faster than messengers. Ahead stood the Franks, no empire, no crowned monarch, just a hard ruler in practice. His name, Charles Martel, later remembered as the Hammer. The enemy's strength was cavalry, fast pressure, constant motion. The Frankish answer was simple: infantry, discipline, and ground that denied a clean charge. For days, two forces held their distance, waiting, measuring, supplies thinning. One mistake could turn a line into a collapse. So here is the question: why did this clash near Tours matter so much, and what did it truly change in Europe's future? The year is 732, and momentum is moving north. For decades, forces based in Andalus have expanded across Iberia with speed and coordination. Mounted troops, hardened commanders, and established supply routes make long-distance operations possible. When southern Gaul is struck and Bordeaux falls, the signal that travels through the region is unmistakable. The frontier is no longer distant, it is here. The deeper risk is not only military, it is political. In a fragmented landscape, hesitation can achieve what swords do not. If local powers fail to coordinate, pressure becomes penetration. Charles Martel faces a dual calculation: the battlefield ahead and the cohesion behind him. He is not a crowned monarch, yet he holds decisive authority within the Frankish sphere. That authority has been forged in internal conflict, which means he understands how fragile alignment can be under fear. If Aquitaine collapses alone, further advances become easier, so he draws together contingents that might otherwise stand apart. His objective is stripped of rhetoric: stop the advance. His instrument is not cavalry speed, it is disciplined infantry, capable of holding ground when impact arrives. The opposing strengths are asymmetrical. The Umayyad force relies heavily on mobility, particularly cavalry that can probe, withdraw, and strike again. Such formations thrive in open terrain where momentum can build and regrouping is clean. The Frankish strength lies in density, a formation that compresses space rather than traverses it. That difference makes terrain decisive. If cavalry cannot maneuver freely, its advantage narrows. If infantry can anchor itself, its weakness diminishes. Strategy becomes geography made visible. The Franks therefore hold higher, rougher ground rather than descending into the plain. This choice denies the mounted armour clean approach. It also signals something psychological. They are willing to wait. Waiting is not passivity, it is discipline under pressure. Two armies come within sight of each other. Skirmishes occur at the margins, scouts test distances, yet neither side commits fully. In these days of tension, the battle begins in silence. Men measure water, horses require forage, supply lines stretch. The strain is gradual, but it accumulates. For the Frankish line, repetition becomes the foundation of survival. Commands are standardized, spacing is drilled, shields overlap until no daylight appears between them. Spears angle forward so the first rank is not alone. This is not theatrical courage, it is procedure. Fear still exists, but procedure restricts how fear spreads. An infantry formation that has practiced replacement can absorb shock. If a man falls, another steps forward. If a shield cracks, another fills the space. Cohesion is built before the first major impact arrives. When engagement escalates, cavalry seeks disruption. The objective is not merely to strike, it is to fracture the line, create gaps, create motion, create panic. The first collisions therefore matter disproportionately. If the defensive formation splinters once, it may unravel completely. If it withstands the initial shock, the psychological advantage shifts. Impact comes with dust and force. Horses rear, shields bend, spears splinter, yet the Frankish formation flexes and relocks. Not spectacle. Pressure. Hours of repeated pressure change perception on both sides. Mounted troops accustomed to breakthrough and counter resistance. Infantry accustomed to vulnerability discover resilience. Morale becomes a variable as significant as numbers. Commanders watch for it. A slight hesitation in the cavalry line, a moment of overextension, a visible widening between units, because cohesion does not collapse all at once, it loosens incrementally before it fails. In prolonged engagements, logistics intrude. Supplies in the rear carry weight beyond material value. Baggage trains represent reward and survival. If rumours spread that the rear is threatened, attention divides. In a cavalry-heavy force, that division spreads rapidly. Riders can disengage individually. A few turn back, others follow. The forward density thins. What began as coordinated assault begins to fragment into uncertain movement. The battlefield changes not through a single dramatic act, but through cumulative doubt. The Frankish response is measured rather than reckless. Instead of scattering in pursuit, the line advances into space that has been relinquished, step by step, shields locked, spears pressing forward. The objective is not annihilation through chase. It is conversion, turning hesitation into retreat. Retreat late in the day is difficult to reverse. Momentum, once lost, rarely returns cleanly. Infantry that maintains shape while advancing becomes a compressing force. Leadership visibility becomes decisive at such moments. When a commander falls, the loss is informational as much as tactical. Orders fail to propagate, confidence falters, Abd al-Rahman al-Ghafiqi dies, and cohesion deteriorates. The collapse is not instantaneous, it is sequential. Units withdraw unevenly. Darkness approaches. Escape becomes possible. What had been an organised campaign begins to dissolve into survival-driven movement. By nightfall, the field reflects the shift. The Frankish formation remains intact. The opposing force has thinned and withdrawn, yet the significance extends beyond the immediate ground. The Frankish authority hardens. The northern frontier stabilises. Raids will occur again, but not with the same depth. The event enters memory quickly, and memory magnifies what it selects. Some will call it a defence of faith. Others will debate its scale. What cannot be debated is the structural outcome. Mobility met cohesion, and cohesion did not fracture. In the long arc of history, battles acquire meaning beyond their mechanics. This one becomes associated with continuity. A line held under pressure, a coalition maintained under strain. It is not a story of sudden conquest or spectacular reversal. It is a story of endurance. An army built for motion encountered a formation built for absorption. The latter remained coherent long enough to claim the field. The fighting ends, the argument about its weight begins. The fighting ended, but the argument did not. In the short term, the Umayyad force pulled back, and the Frankish position hardened. In the long term, the result became a story, repeated, simplified, weaponized. Some remembered it as a shield for Christendom, others as a raid that met its limit, and nothing more. But one fact remains. Two armies faced each other near Tours, and one side did not yield. And the question survives. What did Europe become because that line held? And what would it have become if it broke?